Ali Jones, you've welcomed these changes that will improve the process for homeowners to get their earthquake houses repaired and rebuilt. However, what you don't like is the Natural Hazards Commission, the way it's going about it, or what they've been told when it comes to the on-sold support packages, which you've described as severely flawed. How so?
Well, I'm not actually welcoming them, Chris. I welcome anything that will help people get back into their homes, that will get them their homes repaired correctly, give them the correct standard of reinstatement. And look, I agree, this can't go on forever. What I'm frustrated about here is that I don't know what the Associate Minister of Finance has been told, but this announcement seems to point the finger at the claimant, at the homeowner. You know, it's putting a whole lot of deadlines in place for the homeowner. Now, I've been on the phone all morning and getting emails from people as well, and the commonality in the discussions that I'm having with people is that EQC NHC is the one that is slowing things down. They are the ones who are changing scopes of works. They are the ones who are changing costings and challenging costings without the correct information to back that up. They are the ones who are challenging engineering reports without the expertise and information to back that up. These are delays that I've seen coming, and a number of us have seen coming for 2-3 years. In fact, I tried to meet with the minister at the beginning of this year, and all I heard was crickets. And it was to raise this issue that there are delays as a result of poor processes within EQC, and it needs to stop. But this doesn't do that. This just points the finger at the claimant.
So why hasn't the Associate Minister said it's time for EQC, or whatever they call themselves now, to get things moving and give themselves the deadline, as opposed to giving the homeowners the deadline, adding additional stress?
Well, you have to ask him that, and I wanted to ask him that, but I've been unable to. The only thing I can think is that he has been given incorrect information. The delays are the result of not all of the delays. Let's be fair. There are some people, and there will always be some people who don't know how the process works or are trying to game the system, but not a lot. You know, I have had no calls, and I'm not aware of any claims where the delays are as a result of the homeowner, that these are delays that are the result of EQC being unreasonable, EQC not applying the right reinstatement standard. I mean, one of my biggest concerns about the announcement yesterday is the fact now that no application can be settled in excess of 1.5 times the current rateable capital value of the property. Now, I've had 2 calls from people already who have said if that applies to their claim, they will not be able to correctly repair their home. Now, that was the whole reason for having the on-sold policy in the first place. So I actually believe what the minister has announced is in breach of the policies that were announced when this program was set up.
The interesting thing here, Ali, is you've said the program has, in some respects, has been working here as it was intended to, but the Associate Minister, in this case, David Seymour, he could argue, though, that's not the case because the costs keep rising more so than was originally intended.
There was no original intention or budget or figure put on it, Chris, and I think this is part of the problem. I was part of the claimants reference group when we were discussing the on-solds issue with EQC, and we said when they launched the program, hey, this is going to be far bigger than you're expecting. This is going to cost a whole lot more than you may have put a tentative figure on, and we were right. They didn't listen to us then, and they're not listening now. We raised the issue with the on-sold that created the on-sold program that was poor repairs and poor assessments. They didn't listen to claimants then either. I would really like Minister Seymour and others who are making these decisions to talk to claimants about this, to involve the claimants and those who are on the ground working with claimants, so that the announcements that he makes and the changes that are made actually do achieve what he's wanting to achieve. No one wants a program like this to cost millions and millions, hundreds of millions more than perhaps was initially expected. But there of reducing that. EQC, for example, spent $1 million on external legal advice in 2024 compared to 2023. Their legal approach to a lot of these claims, their litigious nature, which was a real feature of EQC 7-8 years ago, but then slowly reduced, has returned again. Now, as soon as you involve lawyers, yes, that slows things down. So, there are ways that this could have been done a whole lot better and a whole lot more effectively.
This is putting real stress on homeowners, isn't it, Ali?
Yeah, I've just got off the phone now to a chap who I didn't ask him how old he was. He certainly, it's hard to pick people's ages on the phone, but he sounded like an older gentleman, and he's been struggling. He and his wife have been struggling with the on-sold program for 5 years now, so pretty much from the time that it started. And from what he was saying to me, and yes, I've only heard one side of it, but it does not sound too different to other issues that I've heard, and that is EQC or NHC, whatever they're calling themselves, does change things way down the path, even to the point of claimants being on site about to sign the deed of settlement. Things will start to be taken out of the scope of works. Now, I believe that is because there's been some pressure since the new government came on to stop these costs. We've heard David Seymour talk about stopping the music, other phrases such as how do we turn the tap off? Well, it's not actually about that. It's about doing it properly so this can be resolved as it was supposed to be in the first place, which was to stop there being litigation. That was one of the objectives of the on-sold program as dictated by Treasury, so to keep people out of court. And the second one was to achieve an enduring settlement that properly reinstated homes. Now, what the minister has announced is actually not going to achieve either of those things.
Ali, just finally, when we think about all of this, the earthquake was in 2011. It is now 2024.
Oh, what do you want me to say? I mean, honestly, it almost makes me want to cry. I feel fortunate that we got through our on-sold program and relatively easily. And I think we did it before the change of government for a start. And I do think that has played a part in this. But here I am in my house. I've just spoken to a man who's an older man who's struggling with this. I get calls from people who are wanting to move out of their homes and move into retirement villages, go to sell their home and find that their house is poked because of EQCs or Fletcher's, issues with it. I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be talking about this stuff. I don't really want to be on the end of a phone listening to people, but I don't feel that I have any choice. And, what do I do? Do I crawl into a hole somewhere? And I don't know how I can help people. I'm just one person. There are others trying really hard as well. But the minister had such an opportunity here. It's the minister that could have made a difference here and made this so much easier and given people some real hope and some real finality. But that hasn't been achieved. I agree with him. This has got to stop. This should not be an ongoing rolling wall of costs. But in my opinion and some others, he's just got this totally wrong.
Ali Jones, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.